A math toolbox is a great way for you to practice many math skills with your students. It could be during the classroom, during the transition period, or even waiting in line for gym or some other activity your class might be going on. One thing that you could have are large dice. These could be rolled, and a student must make a math equation with the two numbers showing up on the dice, or any other dice games that you might be able to think of. Another item you might use in your math toolbox are rulers. I would use a ruler that has centimeters and also inches on them. Students could measure their shoes or their hands. They could measure any object that is close to the students, and then you can compare measurements within peers for lots of math practice. Another item that I might put in a math toolbox is a geoboard with rubber bands. This is a great way for the teacher to quiz students on different shapes and also allow students to make their own shapes on the geoboard. There are wooden 3D shapes that are also great ways to pull out of a bag, and students can name the different attributes of these blocks. They might talk about how many sides or describe the shapes in any way that they can. There are base 10 blocks also, which are small, easy to throw in a math toolbox. You can practice counting, regrouping. There are lots of things that you can practice with base 10 blocks. Another great tool are clocks. For example, this is a clock that might go on an overhead, but you could use cardboard clocks, clocks that you make on your own, or clocks that might come in a math toolbox. You can practice setting the time for students, giving them simple problems based on time that they can solve, and students can also give each other problems with their clocks as well. Pieces that represent fractions are also great, small, and easy to use in your math toolbox. For example, I have a whole circle, a circle that represents half of the piece, and also a third of the circle. And you can use these to practice making equivalent fractions. You can practice comparing fractions, and even doing simple math problems with the fractions if your students are capable of doing that. Flashcards are also a great way to play around the world while waiting in line or in your classroom, and students really love this game. Money can also be used in your math toolbox. You can add, subtract your money. You can do many things with this money. And there are also nice work mats that students can place their different coins in. They can be real or plastic depending on what you have in your classroom. A hundreds chart is also a great tool to use in your classroom. Students can do a lot of things with this. They can look for patterns on the hundreds chart. They can use it to solve simple addition or subtraction problems. And they can quiz each other as well as just use it for games and other things that you might think of. There are basic geometric shapes that you can use. I just have some small ones that are laminated. These are great for practicing patterns. I might pick 8 of them randomly and give them to 8 students, and then as I go around the room, the rest of the students must name the shape that comes next in the pattern. A set of linking cubes are also great things to use. You can practice patterns, combinations, length, number sense while waiting in line or in the classroom. They're easy to pull apart and stick together to meet any of your needs. Also, another thing that you might be able to do with attribute blocks, you can use these paper ones or wooden ones if you have those. Students can find a way to group themselves. If you give one to each student based on attributes, they can find similarities and differences between the shapes as well. Another tool that I think is very neat to use in your classroom is a regrouping chart. And this is a great way for students to see where you put your numbers, and once you've filled it to the top, where to put your new number when you are regrouping. This seems to work really well with students who have a hard time seeing math problems, who need a little bit of extra visual help. And last I have thermometers. A Fahrenheit and a Celsius thermometer is a great way for students to be able to read thermometers, to compare the difference between a Fahrenheit and a Celsius thermometer, and also practice writing the correct temperatures on a piece of paper. I hope you enjoy making your own math toolbox. Thank you.